All right. So I'm gonna hop right into this. Angie, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
All right, it's part two. We're back. I told y'all we was gonna do it. We're back. The title to this episode is, if I'm being honest, reflecting after Black History Month. Yeah, we're gonna reflect. Anything you want to say, Angie, before we jump in?
Um, Outside of Black History Month, February was a very hectic month. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm glad we all got through it. Uh huh. Uh huh.
We are here. We made it. I know that's right. And hey, it's also Melanin March. Okay, period.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, come on, carry it through. So yeah, I want to start off with a quote real quick. So the most famous Black person and the most important to Black history is really Jesus Christ, or so people call him.
Yes. I feel like I have a lot of opinions on this. The first things first, I did grow up, hearing all about the characteristics of Jesus Christ, how he may look, how he may act, this and the third. But really, when we think about it, the only appearance we see of Jesus Christ is a white man. And listen, I want to say there's nothing wrong with him being a white man in other people's eyes, but it really just goes to show how deep the white savior is in today's world. But really, Jesus Christ, when they described him, he was not what they say he is. So for instance, when they said his skin was as brown as copper, or like his hair was like the texture of wool, that's not the characteristics of your so-called everyday white man walking down the street with long, greasy, wavy hair.
The greasy hair.
I mean, you know what I'm trying
the,
to say.
the spaghetti strings, bro. Stop. No, realistically, and just a little bit of history. I mean, if you search up Jesus Christ, the person with his arms outstretched and with the blue eyes, whatever,
Yup.
that's Caesar Borgia. That's not Jesus Christ. Google him and the history in the Roman Catholic Church. But this is not a religious episode. The point is that image is pushed on the Black community in order to get us to subconsciously assimilate to white culture. Like, it's
Exactly.
projecting white supremacy through your religious ideology. And we all know, if you Black, man, if you're Black, you know how important church is in a Black community. You know what I'm saying? And it honestly goes back to slavery days, where church on Sunday was the only day that they had off. The Bible was the only thing that they was maybe allowed to read if they could. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Spiritualness and whatever. That's how they found the soul, the joy, the thing that
It's
made
what
them
really
able
brought
to.
them together.
Exactly. That's what brought them through. They were singing, the slave hymns and the soul anthems and the
Letting the
praise
spirits
dancing.
guide them through. Like it was all what brought
Exactly.
them
It
together.
all came from slavery. Now, is that really our culture? No, it's stuff that the white man fed us as well. But still, that's not what this episode's about. The point is, church is so important and religion is so important to our community that we just can't keep letting that image affect how we look at ourselves. You know what I'm saying? When you look up and you
Exactly.
want to see a Black leader, you want to see somebody, you know what I'm saying, that looks like you know what I'm saying? The white person has that. The white kid has that. They can look up and their God looks like them. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that because they try to push that onto us. But when we really break that down, what they gave us, you know what I'm saying? If you really research on it, it's really some diabolical stuff. But if you break that down, what they gave us, and you realize, come back to our roots, that your savior, your God is color, a person of color like you really start trying to assimilate yourself to the white race, because that's what they want. Your savior, your way to heaven, your guiding force, the spirit, love is all in the white man. That's what the image is pushing. So it's not about, religion or really what Jesus Christ looks like, quote unquote. That's not what they're trying to show you that for. They're trying to show you that in order to keep the oppression in the community. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something that I wanted to jump in with. It's not a religious episode. It's about Black community and struggles that we have. I feel like the first episode we touched on institutionals, but this episode we're really going to go into our personal experience. So yeah, Angie, this is not a religious episode, but what do you want to talk about, since this is more of a personal thing?
Yes, more of reflecting. So I think one thing I want to jump into is the terminology whitewashed or being whitewashed. First of all, I know there's going to be someone out there who's like, oh, what the hell is that? So basically, in my point of view, it stems from internalized racism. That's one point. Minimizing one's own culture for white approval. There's that definition, but also the one I experienced was stemming from rejection from my own community, considering I think growing up, I will say I didn't entirely fit into my community because my school was predominantly Black. And this is really tough thinking about, since it's elementary school and no one would ever think that growing up. But thinking back to then, I didn't really fit into all the Black spaces because I just didn't act like them. they just said, oh, you have white characteristics, like you act like a white person and you have the name of a white person. It was never, oh, you know
What
what,
does
you're
that
different,
even
but
mean, girl? My name needs to be Lakeisha. Like what?
literally.
What does that
And it
mean?
freaking sucks because it's like, okay, yeah, I might have a different name. Yeah, it's like different from, I don't know, whatever typical name they were thinking of, but I didn't have to go so hard. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure.
And it sucks because it's like going through it, I think I really had to find some sort of middle ground when it came to finding friends. And that was like the hardest part. I think that's why I struggle with that part of me. Like, I've never grew up around black friends. I was really put in the box with more of the mixed children or like the lighter skinned children, because anytime I tried to hang out with my own folks, I was always pushed out of that box. Though I don't want to put the blame entirely on them, because as a children your mind is impressionable and you really take in what you're taught, right? So I
Word.
guess it doesn't even stem just from behavior wise. I guess it also stems from how my work has come out. I won't say like, my mom's just always really been on top of me about how I make my work and stuff, and how I come out with being intelligent, you know, always being able to read and stuff. And so because I was always reading, it sort of shaped my dialect a certain way. I didn't have one of those, well, since we're in New York, I didn't have one of those New York accents. I just really spoke what some would say proper, right?
Mhm.
So speaking of proper, I guess getting older, I had to learn a way to code switch. And if nobody knows what code switching is, it's like the practice of alternating between languages, or in this case, dialects that fit into different social spaces. So in middle school, I started to speak in a way where it would confuse my friends. I guess it stemmed from elementary school, but I started realizing like I didn't like not being able to fit into my own community. So I really started talking as if I was, I want to say less educated, or I didn't know how to say my words the way they should be said. I just
Mhm.
really wanted to fit in to my community, you know? So speaking on that point, like, did you ever go through that at all? Like, I know that
Girl,
was a main part of my life. What about yours?
girl, heck no, absolutely no. Um,
No.
anybody who know me know that I'm very I don't want to say I'm very black because I am black, but like what is acting
Yes.
black? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to say I act black because what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? But like I've never had that. You know what I'm saying? I grew up being dark was normal in my space. I didn't even know I was dark until, you know what I'm saying? Like I went to school in maybe like fourth, fifth, maybe third. I don't know how. I really don't know. It's really been all my life, but it's never affected me. I didn't know I was that dark. Honestly, I really didn't even know because it was so normal to me. My dad is darker than me. You know what I mean? I grew up wanting to be dark. My oldest sister,
No.
you know what I'm saying, was is darker than me. I grew up believing that her skin color was just so beautiful. And it is. You know what I'm saying? Not believing, but that to me,
Yes.
that was like the beauty, the pinnacle for me. Like I was like, I'm trying to get a tan, you know what I'm saying? Apparently I can't tan. It's almost impossible for me.
Yeah.
I had one time I went to Puerto Rico and man, I was in the sun all day and that's the only tan I've ever gotten. But in the United States where I ain't getting no tan. GG's for me. But nah, like I've never went through that. You know what I mean? If anything, I was too black. Oh, you dark as midnight, or you fade into the background, or you blah 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 blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy because it was like I was just black, you know what I'm saying? And it was like people were so ignorant back then. I remember multicultural day in school, you know what I'm saying? Everybody like,
Yes.
I'm Jamaican, I'm Haitian, I'm Trinidadian, big up the TNT, you know what I'm saying? Like, but everybody's like, are you Jamaican? And that was my favorite. That was like my favorite thing to get asked because I would look people in the face and be like, no, bro, like,
Yo,
you
no,
dumb?
bro.
Like, are you dumb? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, yo, I get it. New York is like a big place for like,
Like Afro Latinas
yeah,
and things
Afro
like that.
Latinas or like, you know, Caribbean people or just immigrants in
Yes. Like
general.
Islanders.
Exactly. That's a big thing. You know, food culture, everything is all up in New York. You know what I'm saying? There's different flags everywhere, parades everywhere. You can go down the block and see the Dominican hair salon next to the Jamaican food spot, next to the China toast
The-
spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, cultures everywhere in New York. You know, I get that, but I'm like, yo, can I not be regular black? Like, I'm just black, yo. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't Jamaican. I wasn't nothing special until I, you know, grew up later and got in touch with my, you know, Hispanic side of my heritage. But I've grown up, I was just black. If anything, too black. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, I was less desirable in general. People didn't want to be my friends. People didn't want to talk to me. You know, when you're third grade, people in their little relationships, that wasn't my thing. Nobody wanted me because I was hella black. You know what I'm saying? And it was like
exactly.
I had the exact opposite. And it's funny because you would think that because I had that experience, I would learn the code switch like you did, but I didn't. My family was always very accepting. It was just the world and dumb kids that was talking to me. And because of how I was raised in my mind, you know what I'm saying, I didn't have the desire to be anything else. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a desire to code switch. What is speaking proper? You know, I can read. I got skipped up in kindergarten because I could teach the whole class. You know what I'm saying? I'm very intelligent. But I
Yes.
never felt like I've had to prove to nobody with code switching that I am those things.
I think the one thing I took out of that entire experience, despite the code switching, despite being called whitewash, it just made me want to be black even more. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry. I just love being black. I'm sorry.
Yes, girl. That's why it was ingrained in me, because it was like, love who you are. Like, I had no desire to grow up trying to be around white people. Honestly, the school that I went to a charter school in Brooklyn, and charter school is supposed to be a good school. You would think there'd be lots of white people in there. It really wasn't.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I used to think light-skinned people was white. That's how black I was. Like, if you're not black, bro, you was white. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, okay? Not too much on me, chat. That's how familiar I was with being black and how comfortable I was with being black. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy to me because I've never had that experience of trying to feel like I don't fit in or trying to change myself, because I'm like, why do I have to change who I am, how I walk, how I talk, how I look, how I dress? How do I have to change that because what you think? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? You know what I'm saying? And we'll hop into that later when we get into stereotypes. It's so crazy to me because it's like literally the whole process of code switching literally is the whole like, oh, you talk white or you whatever, like that colorism and division at its finest. You know what I mean? And it's just something that we didn't get to talk about in the last episode, but man, the whole white versus dark debate, yo, you just say it's everywhere, yo. And it's not even just really a debate, it's people's real life. You live that life, you know what I'm saying? And do light-skinned people have privilege in the black community? I think absolutely. So I mean, I don't know, some people think it don't exist because they be like, oh, we're all still black, and in the eyes of a white person or in a cops or whatever, I'm still black, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. But I personally don't believe that, you know what I'm saying? As a dark-skinned woman, like I feel like I definitely don't feel like that, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, you let me know what you think.
I don't want to label myself as a light skin woman. Let's put it down. Black, that's it. I'm black. But growing up, I wasn't made aware of the issues between light versus dark skin, because it was not something that I personally, like, I want to say it's not something that I personally want. Maybe it did and I overlooked it. However, just because it hasn't happened to me does not mean it doesn't happen in general.
Yeah.
Right? So growing up, I have an older brother, but he's dark skinned.
Yeah.
And, you know, usually we travel together. So maybe that's why issues weren't persistent. But I remember a very, I don't want to call it traumatic for me, but it was really a tough time for him. He ended up having this incident with police officers in a subway station, and they profiled him, right? Because it was late at night, he was just trying to get home, and he didn't have his cards on him, but he had cash, and at the time the machine was down, so he asked like, hey, can I get a ride? The MTA worker said, yeah, go ahead. He went through. The police, 2 of them, walked right up on him. One was a black man too, and they said, hey, did you pay? They were really about to take him back to the gate, and when he called, it seemed like he was upset and he was scared and he was trying to talk, but they weren't letting him. They kept asking him questions, and my mom was screaming on the phone. We were really scared because knowing the issues that, you know, black people have with police, we didn't know how left this could go.
Right.
So when I heard about that issue, I guess it opened up my eyes to the issues that light versus dark skinned people have in the community, because had he have been a lighter skin, I really can tell you, I doubt they would have ever walked up on him.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the whole thing, like the whole stereotype that like dark-skinned black people are more aggressive, men and women. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's a perfect example with your brother, like being a dark-skinned man, you know, he got racially profiled. You know, they seem more aggressive. Like, it's even in the media. When you see Tyrone, the gangbanger blood, right? He's the dark-skinned black man. Why we don't see no light-skinned gangster? And honestly, I feel like we all have personal prejudice and, you know, stuff that we feed into that as well, because I ain't gonna front. If I see Drake coming up on the movie trying to act hard, I'm alive. Like,
yo, oh my god, but that's Drake. You can't even say
well, that's true, that's Drake. But if you pasty color or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Respectfully, of course, guys. You know what I'm saying?
But it's because in society it's so ingrained
exactly.
that light skin will always be the superior version of black people.
And softer, you know what I'm saying? More graceful. Same thing with black women. As a dark-skinned woman, man, I can't do nothing. You know how many men have told me, I don't really, because I be like, my favorite thing whenever I see, you know, interracial couples and I see a black man with a white woman.
Don't even get me started.
This is not what this is about. But every time I see that, I be like, yo, what's up with you and these snow bunnies? You know, because it's my homeboys or whatever. I'm like, what's up with you and those snow bunnies or whatever? And they be like, man, I can't. Dark-skinned women, black women, just so aggressive. You know, they talk too much. They don't listen. They just hard to deal with. shit. Like, they just so difficult and just be loud and ghetto. And I'm like, yo, you know me? Like, and they be like, well, you're different.
You're different is crazy.
I'm not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why do I have to work harder? You know, I can't get angry because then I'm the angry black woman. I can't stand up for myself because then, you know, I talk too much or I'm difficult or whatever. Like, you know, I can't sing certain songs or play certain music or then I'm ratchet and ghetto, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? It comes down to your appearance, your nails, your hair, the lashes you wear, the color wig, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? They profile all of that. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think the soft girl aesthetic became a big thing that blew up in the last like year and a half? Soft girl aesthetic, straight hair, cute soft nails, short nails with like baby pink, you know what I'm saying? Natural makeup look, you know what I'm saying? Very soft girl, clean girl
I feel
aesthetic.
like back when you look at it in like 2020, that was like the desirable look or like vibe. But like
Yes.
going through the years, you start to realize it was rooted in a lot of racism. The
Mm-hmm.
whole, oh, clean girl aesthetic includes straight hair, you know, clear
Right.
skin, a certain sort of clothes you put on.
Right.
Like it was just rooted in a sort of discrimination. Like you
Yes.
have an afro, you're not clean, girl. You can't get in this club, but if you got straight hair, let's go. Like, come on now.
Right. Or even the whole demure thing, like, oh, just because you got big hoop earrings or you wearing, you
Not
know,
demure, not ugly.
whatever,
Man,
right?
shut
That's
your
not
ass
demure.
up.
That's not cutesy. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? It's just like that whole stereotype about dark-skinned women, dark-skinned people in general being more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, if you do see those type of men with black women, they be light-skinned women. Why? Because they
Exactly.
think they softer or whatever. I literally had a whole experience where like somebody literally cut me off talking about some, I just don't like how you act, she's ghetto, blah blah blah. Like, it
Oh,
was just giving me the
please.
ick or whatever. And I don't even know what the heck I did. I really didn't. I was just being me. But they picked up on ghetto vibes, quote unquote, and cut me off, talking about something was a turn off. They cut me off. And then next thing you know, they turn around and they dated some light skinned girl who really is ghetto. Like, she really
Yeah.
was like, she the whole L, like that's her.
Okay, no.
You guys, she really was ghetto for real. She was loud, she was ratchet, she talked back, she disrespectful, she off the chain. But that's cool because she's light skinned and that couldn't possibly be the real her. Like, come on, yo. Like, that's crazy. The
Exactly. It's
association.
just so unfair.
That's just crazy. And I don't know, we see it in shows too. Like, girl,
And
you know our
media,
show.
exactly.
You know our show. What is it?
Love Island.
Yes.
Oh
Gosh,
my God.
yes.
Yo, let me not go off track about talking about the whole show. But specifically, my favorite couple that came off that show, don't flame me, I only watched season, 5 and 6 or 6 and 7? I don't care. My favorite couple, Serena and Cordell. I absolutely love them. Peak cinema.
Yes,
Peak
yes.
love. It was beautiful black love. However, that one big argument when they came back from Casa Amor and Cordell had a new lady on his arm and Serena was feeling highly disrespected. Mind you, we're in the middle, if not closer to the end of the season where they're really having connections.
They
So
had built this
obviously,
relationship,
exactly. You see your lover coming back with somebody else, you're gonna be heated. And what did Serena do? She started yelling at him. She was not being aggressive, like, oh, I'm gonna beat you up, this, that, and the third. No, she's saying you're irrelevant, this, that, and the third. She was emotional. She was upset, right? And the entire internet flamed her, calling her aggressive, this, that, and the third. See what happens when you talk to a dark-skinned woman. And it was so disrespectful because if it was anybody else off the internet and you see somebody you're trying to grow a connection with, obviously you're gonna feel as emotional as Serena did.
Right. But because in the way they edited her, they had her looking crazy. Like, come on, yo. Like, the music and everything changed. I'm like, yo, why did y'all do this to the edit? Like, that's so racist.
Talking about some dun 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 dun. Yo.
Yo, versus her. Listen. I know she's controversial, and I don't care, bro. She's racist. I don't care. I don't like her. I don't care about her makeup line. Huda from the last season, bro. I don't care, bro. I hate her with a passion, bro. Because same thing. She was crashing out on everybody and their mother. She was walking all over Jeremiah. Mind you, that feeds into the whole light skinned men be soft type thing. Because why did he take that with disrespect? Not saying he need to buck up and be a man and put his hands on him, or that he should have yelled at her back. I'm not saying none of that. But that just feeds into the whole passive, soft, light skinned men thing. Meanwhile, she's light skinned and, you know, all this type of stuff, and she crashing out being actually aggressive. That's not demure at all. She's not carrying herself like a sophisticated grown woman with a child. She acting like the child. You know what I'm saying? You crashing out, yelling at everybody, causing problems, making drama in the villa, and then you get the edit where you're crying and you're the victim and everybody feels bad for you. Like, are you serious, yo? Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? And that's how we black women are represented in the media.
And my
sad.
whole issue with the whole how Serena was portrayed when she was having her crash out, and how Huda
Mm-hmm.
was portrayed when she was having her crash out, and how the internet reacted to it when Huda had her crash out moment. They brought up every single reason for her and how it should have been justified.
Right.
How all of a sudden, when it's Huda, it could have been, oh, she had mental health issues. This was
Right.
happening. She had a child. Maybe her child was giving her stress. Mind you, she's on the show, but maybe her child was giving her stress and she was feeling it. But when it was Serena, nobody gave that background check on her. Nobody checked to
Mm-hmm.
see if she had mental health issues. Nobody considered the fact that that was a potential lover she was supposed to have, and that was going to hurt her severely. No, Huda had that relationship going on, and they were supposed to be exploring at this point. They didn't even reach the middle of the show. They were supposed to be exploring, and she lashed on, and she crashed out on everybody. And what did the internet do? They justified her crash out.
That right there is privilege in its finest, yo. And I don't want nobody to think that this is a bashing session for light-skinned people, because we are not light-skinned, because it's definitely not. But it's reality for the world, you know what I mean? And it's sad and unfortunate, you know. And I'll touch on the men real quick, because like we said, dark-skinned men being seen as aggressive as well. And like, please tell me what is going on in this new generation. I thought Coco Melon was bad, but Disney Junior has a new show, guys. It's called Hey AJ. Why is there a superhero in this show? This man's name is Captain Durag, and his freaking cape is this durag going around from his eyes, flowing down into the durag cape, yo. And his sidekick is Snow Bunny. He not even the real superhero main character. He goes behind and cleans up after the real superheroes do their work or whatever.
No, don't even miss the important factor. It's a dark-skinned man.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Durag, Snow Bunny sidekick, and where are we based? Slime City? Slime City? Slime City?
Like, you know, what did you say earlier? Talking about, so it feeds into the thing that we be trapping and scamming it.
Yes, oh my gosh, like, are you serious? Feeding into the whole stereotype of how black people are. We scamming, we got a scat pack, like, we got bags, we wear do-rags. Come on, just feeding into the negative stereotypes when we know we already don't want to be portrayed on media like this.
Word, like, just put them in a shiesty at this point, yo. Like, Slime City is crazy. And it's like, it's not funny because people are really like this, you know. I literally was in the train station the other day. I'm in the train station, I walk down, it's peak New York, it's mad brick outside, yo. It's mad brick. And so I understand.
Mad brick.
I go outside, I'm in the train station. First thing I see is a black man, dark-skinned black man, and he got Tim's on, a pair of jeans, a Nike tech top that didn't even match, bro. Then not even a real coat, just another jacket on top of it, yo, because he had to layer up. And then he had the ski mask on, the shiesty. I'm like, yo, this is the exact image that we were trying not to project, but it's a real thing. But realistically, it was like 2 degrees outside. It was brick. I do not blame him for having the ski mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
Hey, that's what it's made for, yo. But we done turned it into, I'm a thug, I'm trapping, give me all your money, like, yo, empty the register. Like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? So it's like the representation is cooked, but it's just like, that's so sad that Disney Junior, yo, these are kids, bro. These are kids. And I just think that's really sad. I just think that in general, how black people are viewed as uneducated or unprofessional because we do those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was to walk into a corporate office for the interview, say you wearing Tim's, you know what I'm saying? Right? Or whatever it is, you just, I don't really know what they consider not appropriate or professional, but you're not getting that job, bro. You're gonna be looked at as crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of black movies like that where it's like the dude, he, you know, trying to go and get this job interview and he got regular jeans on, a button up, and some sneakers and some Air Forces or whatever, and he's not professional enough or whatever, and he's not educated or whatever. Or even me in my personal experience, I'm like, the way that I talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I use slang. It is what it is. This is what I talk like. You know what I'm saying? Wherever, in my accent as well, you know, I'm from New York, but people say I sound country. I don't really know what's going on. But at the end of the day,
when I first met you, yes.
I can't. It's like when I go to college and when I talk, when I write, whatever, people gonna assume that I'm not as intelligent or whatever because why? Because I talk like this. You know, I'm sorry I don't talk in Merriam-Webster, Siri, dictionary, chat GPT font. Like, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? That's not cool for you, but that doesn't make me any less smart than the rest of y'all. That's how I got here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not uneducated. You know, that's not unprofessional. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get setting and I get space and all that stuff. I just think that's unfair that Johnny could be having all these, bro, but nobody cares and nobody thinks about that because
going to frat parties, nobody looks his way.
Literally, like, hold my beer, watch this, bro. He white boy wasted. Nobody cares that he's failing college. college off his daddy money, bro. But I walk in and because I said ain't, you know what I'm saying, now all of a sudden I don't deserve to be here. Like, come on now, that's crazy to me.
But it all really connects back to the past. I feel like this whole idea of black people being uneducated, it reminds me of, I don't know if you'll know what I'm talking about, but it was this Jim Crow literacy test.
Yes.
The test they had to take to prove that they were smart enough or had the
To
capabilities
vote.
to register to vote.
Yeah.
And then I feel like now today, looking back at those tests, they would have confused anybody.
Right. And the whole purpose of it was because they knew you couldn't read because they stopped you from reading, right? They stopped you from reading. And so then when they gave you these tests, they knew you was gonna fail. And that's crazy. You know what I mean? And it get passed down even in our school systems, yo, it's not as harped on for education. And you know, we talked about that in the last episode, so y'all go watch that. But yeah. Let's touch on something that I want to talk on really quick. I'm gonna just come out and say it. Mixed people, y'all gotta do better, okay? Especially mixed people that are black and white, mainly. That's what I'm talking about. But you know, it applies to Asian or whatever else people we mix with. But mainly when people are black and white, if you are a mixed person and you have white in you, you cannot deny that you have white in you, okay? But you also cannot deny that you have black in you. That's the whole point of being mixed. So I hate to see when I see a mixed person and they are black, you know what I'm saying? Because you are still black, but you don't want to act like you're associated with black people or with black culture or whatever, and you want to lean into your whiteness. I hate when people try to downplay their black side. You know what I'm saying? You're still black. I hate seeing that. Stand up, be proud to be black, take that part of your culture, but at the same time though, don't lean too far into that, because let's not get away from the fact that you are also white. You know what I'm saying? You do also have that privilege. You are also grown up differently and all that type of stuff like that. So don't try to lean into oh, well, I don't associate with the white people and my ancestors and I don't associate with all that. Oh, you are associated with that. So I feel like, and I don't want it to become a big thing, but just wanted to put that out there that as mixed people, we got to do better. You know, well, not we, but I mean, I am mixed.
I ain't mixed either. Don't group me in with that.
No, not we, but y'all got to do better, because we need the black community to stop being so divided. And you cannot pick a side, because that's not who you are. Accept who you are, you know what I'm saying? Love who you are, you know what I'm saying? Be mixed, you know what I'm saying? Accept both sides. Don't try to disassociate from either side, you know what I'm saying? So that's that. General solutions to colorism, what are we thinking, bro?
Any solution to colorism? None. I'm sorry. There really is no solution.
It's institutional. That's why.
Exactly.
It's made like that.
It's so ingrained, and it dates all the way back in the far past. It does date all the way back. And honestly, there's a lot of birds on the ground. I'll just say it right now. There's a lot of birds on the ground who really think they're better because they are of lighter skin tone. And thinking about it, if we continue like this to the future, not even that, because we got out of slavery for the most part. Now we have the issues within our community.
It's literally like we have to come together, but it's made so that we don't, you know? And so, I mean, exactly. All you can do on your personal level is not feed into it. But it's so funny to me how we're divided. They keep us divided in our community so they can steal our culture. Like, this is not about cultural appropriation, and I think that can be a whole different episode, because that's not really part of this. But it's so funny that black culture is so great and being black is so amazing that they want to be us. They want to take our stuff, you know what I'm saying? They want us to think that we're ghetto and be like them, but the whole time they get in lip fillers and braids and BBLs because they want to be like us.
Mind you, back in the 2000s, if you weren't able to fit through two poles, you're not getting in the club. I'm sorry, they wasn't taking you home. But now they want to start taking the BBLs and the big lips. And
now you want to be fit.
I have curly hair too, even though I curled it yesterday. I got curly hair. No,
I have curly hair. Oh my gosh, I'm tired of seeing that, bro. My hair is curly. Like, shut up. You wrapped it around a comb. Like, please. Yo, I can't. The whole Ariana Grande, like, oh, but everybody flamed. I know we was just talking about Nicki Minaj in the last episode. Go watch that, guys. You flame Nicki Minaj for pink hair and ghetto wigs, but then you put your ponytail on and that and whatever. Like, come on now.
It wasn't even a physical thing for Ariana, at least not with the black community, besides the tanning. But it wasn't a physical thing for Ariana Grande.
It was the music.
It was the music, but that was because she was what? She was mirroring off of her friend at the time, Victoria Monet. Love her down.
Yes.
She was really taking her flow exactly down to the interviews, talking like a black woman.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's not you, Ariana.
Literally. And mind you, she's hopped around. She's stolen every single culture. I remember when she was like, so kawaii, like, please. Or was that
Yo, she really mirrors who she's around. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And there are people like that in the real world. I don't know. Point is that you're so amazing, black people. You're so amazing that they want to be you. So don't let nobody else take that from you. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are. Also be educated. You know what I'm saying? Be smart. Be who you are. Stand up. But also don't be afraid to have a little seasoning. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, any cliff notes, any closing you want to say, Angie?
You know, after as many years as I've been black, not to brag, but I've been black since I've been born.
Hey, right? Me too, bro.
I just love being black. I know we have our hardships. I know we're gonna continue having our hardships. But what's greatness without a little struggle, without a little prospering, when we can fight for, you know, having a great future? You know, I love being black, even though it comes with the many hardships. I wouldn't be anything else, and I really wouldn't want to fight for anything else
Than being black. I know that's right.
exactly.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I wouldn't rather do
Thank
it.
you, Dana.
I love
Everyone
you.
give it up for Dana. Like, we
Oh
love
my
her.
God. Give it up for Angie too, guys. She'll be on here more. We love her. So I think this is your third episode. So y'all should love her by now. Thank you so much. Remember, everything
Thank
you
you.
do is in your DNA. And thank you guys for listening.
Yes, Black Power.